According to Matling, memory is the process of maintaining information over time. And there are three very important stages. The first one is called encoding, which means recording, just like I'm doing right now, this video. So whenever I press the red button, I start recording, encoding, transforming whatever information I'm receiving from the environment, light, audio, into something that the computer inside my cell phone can read, right? The second stage is storage, which means basically saving. So this video is going to be saved in my memory card. Then it goes to the retrieval final stage. The retrieval stage means the recovery stage. So even though I have encoded and stored the information inside my cell phone in my memory card, I still have to find where I stored it. So sometimes recovering the information is more difficult than really remembering the information. Dr. Robert Bjork talks about this duality. Some memories are very easy to recover, but they're not so broad, not so memorable. Some memories are very memorable and they are not very easy to recover, but once you do, it's fairly easy to remember everything that happened. So that's how memory works, and thank you. See you in a bit. So here I am going down the memory lane. I remember I took a picture in this street 2 years ago. I still have it on Facebook. You can check. It's funny how I can remember very well how to get around here. I don't have to check anything, but sometimes I don't know, maybe a week ago I went to some place for the first time, and if I had to go back there I would have no idea how to get around. Why does that work? Isn't it supposed to be easier if you've done something more recently than something that happened 2 years ago? Shouldn't we be able to access that memory in a better, easier way? We're going to talk about the different types of memory and why some things stick and some other things don't stick. So, we're going to talk about the three basic types of memory. The first one is the sensory memory. As you can see, I'm getting a lot of input from the environment, so a lot of different sounds and smells, sensations, and if I choose to pay attention to any of them, and sometimes choosing is not an option, it's a voluntary thing, I can transfer that to the short-term memory or the working memory. There is a slight difference between those terms, but we're going to consider them the same for now, okay? So the working memory is the memory that is responsible for holding the information we need now, and we can transfer or not that information to something more permanent, which is called the long-term memory. The thing is, a lot of authors have discussed how much information we can hold in our working memory. Nowadays, it is believed that we can hold between 4 and 9 chunks, I'd say even 7 nowadays. So 4 and 7 chunks of information in our working memory. The thing is, if you do not rehearse, or if it's not impacting, whatever you have in your working memory is going to disappear in a couple of minutes, you know. So if you do choose, or if you can transfer that to your long-term memory, that means you're going to be able to access that later. And if you rehearse or if you repeat that, you are going to be able to have it for a very long time, okay? Now, our long-term memory is divided into explicit and implicit. So explicit has to do with numbers and letters and names, things that you can say. And implicit has to do with procedures or the memory of how to do things, abilities like how to ride a bike, how to drive a car, how to speak a language as well. So for those of you who love languages, explicit memory which has a memory called declarative. So there are many types of memory. We're just going to talk about the three major groups, and I'm going to give you some details on explicit memory. So explicit memory, for those who love languages like me, would be remembering the words, the vocabulary of the language. Now, implicit memory would be knowing how, remembering how to speak it, okay? So I'm going down there to get some lunch, and we'll keep talking about the working memory. See you in a bit.